Stanford just published yearly report on AI, and the numbers in the adoption of AI are staggering. 88% of the organizations have adopted generative AI, which is a good thing. Agent deployments in production, however, are in single digits. Almost every business function. That gap between we're using AI and we've shipped AI that actually works in businesses has a name now, and that is called forward deployed engineering. And it might be the most important job in the AI age. Now, if you are a software engineer, a solutions architect, a technical consultant, a professional services consultant, and wondering where this career fits and how can you make this move into forward deployed engineering, this video is for you. We are going to break down exactly what forward deployed engineering is, how to become a forward deployed engineer, what are the different skills involved, and I'll give you a complete roadmap by the end of this video. You want to stick around for every single one of these sections because each of them are going to give you specific nuggets on what you specifically can do. It's a very interesting role, and a lot of people have a lot of skills, and there's only a few deltas that you can work on to get there faster. All right, so with that, let's begin. So let's start with what the role actually is, because it gets thrown around so loosely. A forward deployed engineer is an engineer who doesn't sit behind a product roadmap, waiting for requirements to land to them. They sit inside a customer's organization, literally embedded and often on site or in contact with the customer, and they build the thing that the customer is really wanting to build in real time with their production code. Now, this is not a brand new concept. Palantir built its entire company culture around this model over a decade ago. Engineers who would parachute into an intelligence agency or a manufacturing company, figure out the actual problem on ground, and ship a working software against that problem. Not a slide deck about what the problem is and how to solve for it, but actual real software that works. So what changed here is that this model just went mainstream across the AI industry. And here's why it happened. It happened because of the numbers in this study done by Stanford. A lot of people are experimenting with AI. A lot of companies have a lot of adoption of AI, but not a meaningful level of adoption is translating into real AI production use cases. Now, how do you solve for that? As companies solve for that by deploying specific engineering resources closer to the problem statement, which is closer to the customer. Now, the tools and the models are all there. Now, customers need to adopt the tools, which is the state that people are in right now. They have adopted the tools. They're using Claude Code. They're using GitHub Copilot. They're using the different models. But what they haven't figured out is how to use all of these tools to make an application that can be deployed in production, that works for a real use case, that generates money, ROI, and that is what businesses need. So in order to build that system, you need to have two skills. And here's why that matters. A normal software engineer builds against the specs that are given to them. A solutions architect designs the system on paper and hands it to someone else to build the real thing. An FDE does both at the same time with the customer in the room. That combination is exactly what production AI needs right now. And it's exactly what's missing. So why is every AI company suddenly creating this forward deployed engineering role? Well, let's go back to the stats. 88% adoption of AI, single digit production deployments for agents. That's not a very small gap. That's almost every company in the world that's bought the tools but hasn't actually gotten value out of these tools. So here's the thing that gap is really made for. It's not a model problem. It's not how the model works. It's an implementation problem. Getting an agent from an impressive demo to running reliably against a messy real production system with legacy data, weird edge cases, and compliance teams asking hard questions. That's an entirely different skill than building a demo. So companies have realized that they can't really solve that gap with better marketing or better model release. They need people who can sit with a customer, understand their actual business constraints, and then go build the real thing. That is FDE. And that's why the job postings for this role have exploded over the last year. It's that bridge between we bought AI and AI is actually running for our business today. Okay, so what do FDEs do day to day? Let's get that broken down. So they are embedded with a specific customer. Like we said earlier, they are not building generic product features. They spend real time understanding how the customer's business actually works. Where is their data? What are their workflows? The parts of the process that never show up in requirements document because everyone just assumes that you would know that. Then they translate that understanding directly into architecture and code, which is not a proposal, it's not a roadmap, it's not a slide deck, it's working software, iterated in the field, often within days and not quarters. So that's the speed is also important here. And this is the part that actually moves the needle on that single digit production adoption of AI. Now, FDEs shorten the distance between the customer has a real problem and there's a working AI solution for it. They're not writing specs that get thrown over a wall to an engineering team somewhere 6 months out. They are the engineering team and standing in that room, watching the customer use the thing, fixing it on the spot. And that is how you go from toy projects to real world implementations. You collapse that translation layer that normally kills these initiatives. Okay, so how does one become a forward deployed engineer? What is the roadmap? Well, I have been in the industry being a solutions consultant and also created a team of outcomes-based engineers in the last 2 years. So I know what skills are needed. Let me break those down. There are 2 skills tracks. You need both of them, but you can start from either one. So track 1 is business to technical translation. Now, this is the skill of taking a vague, often messy business problem, a goal that we want to reduce claims processing timeline. Like, let's say that is the goal, and turning that into an actual technical architecture that solves it. Now, that's a specific muscle. It's not just knowing how the tech works, it's not just the architecture, it's the clarity, understanding the technology deeply enough that you can explain it simply, and then understanding the business well enough that you know which technical choices would actually matter to build this type of system. This is where solutions architects and technology consultants, professional services people already have a massive head start. They do this every day. Now, if you've spent years translating client requirements into system designs, then you already have this skill. You've just been handing the build out to someone else. Now, track 2 is AI engineering. You're actually building an AI system and shipping that thing into production. It's not a prototype that works in a notebook. It's a system that handles real data, real load, real failure modes, and keeps running after you've moved on to the next customer, to the next project. This is where software engineers already have an advantage. So if you've shipped production software systems before, then you understand the exact difference between it works on my machine and it works when 10,000 users, real users, hit it at 2 a.m. That instinct doesn't come from a course. It comes from actually having been on a call when something broke and you had to fix it. So you put those 2 tracks together. You have a business translation plus production engineering. And that combination is forward deployed engineering. Neither skill alone gets you into this role. Both together is what you need in order to crack interviews for this role. And I will tell you, because I've hired for this role, it's very hard to find people who can communicate well and who can write software. So who's actually closest to this role right now? So if you're a software engineer, you're one skill set away. Communication. Specifically, the ability to sit with a non-technical stakeholder, a business stakeholder, and turn their goal into an architecture without a requirements doc in between. Build that, and you're most of the way to being an FDE. Now, if you're a solutions architect or you're a professional services consultant, you're one skill set away in the other direction. Hands-on production engineering. If you can show that you've actually implemented AI systems before, not just designed them, production level systems for customers, that is the gap that you close. Neither path requires starting over. It really just requires adding one deliberate skill to what you already do well. Now, here are the 3 takeaways. Number 1, forward deployed engineering exists because of a very specific gap right now in the AI industry. Companies have adopted AI, but almost none of them have actually got an ROI from this in real production systems. Number 2, it's not a brand new discipline. It's built from 2 existing skill tracks. One is the business translation and the other is the AI engineering. It's converging those 2 into one role. And number 3 is most of you watching this are closer to this role than you think. So you're not starting from zero, you're just adding 1 or 2 skills to years of your experience that you already have. If you found this useful, I've got an AI engineering roadmap right here.